Now, I am acutely aware that this is a tagging video, and I haven't been tagged. Well, that's just too bad. You're gonna have to listen to me do this anyway. So, my first times. Okay, this unfortunately needs a little bit of an explanation. When I was 17, I had never gone out on a date, ever. And this guy, who was a friend of mine, but I wasn't attracted to remotely, asked me out. I actually think the conversation went like this. Hey, you maybe want to go out sometime? Why? He obviously took that as a no. So I went home, and this was my thought process on the subject. You know, I've never actually been on a date, and I'm an actor. You know, I haven't done a stage kiss yet, so this would be good practice. So I went with him on this date, and the next day, without consulting me at all, he told everyone that I was his girlfriend. Anyway, to get to the actual story, we were working on the show together and we were sitting backstage just talking, and he sort of went in for the kill, and I violently jumped backwards. And then I felt bad, so I let him do it. Okay, this was of course the guy from the first story, and he took me to see this really, really bad Ben Stiller movie. The name I forget. Anyway, I actually think I had to pay for it because it was rated R and he was too young to get his own ticket. So we watched this really bad movie, and the entire movie he was rubbing my ass, and it just shocked me so much that I let him do it. Yeah, the second date was with him and his mother. Yeah, it didn't get better from there. I've been told that my first word was no, which clearly means I wasn't the most well-behaved child. I've also been told that this was The Little Mermaid, although I was such a tiny little infant that I just slept through the whole thing. I think Cinderella is a more interesting story, considering I would sing "So This Is Love" to anyone who would wipe my diapered butt. I had such high standards. This I actually do remember. I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Michael, and he was my crush from kindergarten to first grade. He was in both of those classes. I never actually spoke to him. I would just admire his beauty from afar until he asked me to play his Jumanji game with him, to which I got so scared that I cried. Okay, I don't know if this was referring to me breaking something elsewhere or me breaking something on myself, so I'm gonna go with the latter. In college, I was doing this show where during the curtain call, we had to walk down some stairs and then bow, and I was wearing these little kitten heels, and so while I was walking down the stairs, my heel caught on the step, and it was just one of those like literal movie moments where I slammed face first into the ground, and the entire audience gasped audibly and then just went silent, and I just lay there for like 2 seconds, and then I got up and I said, "I'm okay," and everyone just started cheering, and then I limped off stage and curled up into a little ball on the floor and cried. My castmate was good enough to just scoop me up off the floor and put me in a chair and get me some ice for my foot, but it was broken. Okay, this is one of my favorite stories to tell because it's possibly the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. When I was 16, I hadn't quite gotten my driver's license yet. I was still using my driver's permit, and my mom was gonna go on a trip for a couple of days where she would need to leave her car with the car keys. You can see where this is going. So I told my friend about this, and we planned to just play hooky for the day, not go to school, and just take the car wherever you wanted and just have a really chill, relaxed, hang out day. So I conned my dad into thinking I was taking the bus, and when he left for work, I took the car and I drove to our house. Now, I'd never been to our house before, so I kind of didn't know where I was going, but I made it to our house. The problem was getting to wherever we wanted to go, and she wasn't very good at giving me instructions, so we ended up in this neighborhood at an intersection where I assumed it was a four-way stop, and at a four-way stop, you just look both ways really quickly to make sure there aren't any cars there and then cruise through, which is what I did, but it was a two-way stop. A car T-boned me, and I couldn't find the brake, so I cruised right through someone's fence. Ah! So not only did I break my mom's car, I broke someone else's car and someone's fence without my license, and I had to make a long distance call to my mother to tell her what happened. I have trouble remembering what I ate last week, let alone my first memory ever. However, I do think it was something along the lines of me crawling across orange carpet. That's all I got. My first album, my first CD, was a CD that my mom made me get. And it was some Celtic instrumental music that I played dutifully every day because it was my first CD and I hated every second of it. The first time I got drunk, I was 18, and I got a hold of my dad's whiskey, and I was pretty much drinking it straight from the bottle. And my boyfriend at the time had come to pick me up, so we could hang out with him, me, and his ex. And his ex and I were on very good terms, clearly because I asked for permission to make out with her. I was a class act. When I was in 5th grade, my school gave us laptops, so technically my first time on the internet wasn't very interesting because it was for class, but it did get interesting when I got home and looked at porn. My first video game ever was technically a computer game, and it was on the first computer we ever had. It was an Acer computer, and it was a game that came with the computer. It was called Hover, and it was awesome. You drove this sweet red sports car around, and you had to capture flags before the other team captured your flags. And it was the best game ever, and I couldn't stop. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, then woohoo, we're like in the Hover Club, and we should have like gang signs, like Hover! I don't know. We'll work on that. My first hater comment hasn't happened yet, because no one comments on my videos. So if you would like to be the first, please leave. My first car was this super sweet looking white Cadillac that I bought from this really shady dealership, and within 24 hours it turned out that it had a cracked engine and I couldn't drive it, and I couldn't get my money back because in Florida we don't have a lemon law. My mom always cut my hair as a kid, so the first time I ever actually got it professionally cut, it was for a show where I had to look like a little boy. So I basically got a little boy haircut, which looked like this. Woo! Sexy. My first broken heart is stupidly hilarious. I was like in love with this guy in my sophomore year of high school, and of course, being in love with him, I could not speak to him. His name was Hernando, and he was 2 years older than me, and he had to go to New York to go to college, leaving me behind. Oh, and I was so devastated. Turns out he was gay. Although the boyfriends that he's had, super cute. Kudos. While I wasn't tagged in this video, it is still a tagging video, so I'm gonna tag some people. The first one is Cuba93. He won't do it, but I'm gonna tag him anyway. The second one is Jade and stuff for as soon as she can start making her videos again because she's adorable and hilarious. And the third one is Adorkable Zesty because she doesn't make enough videos and she's the cutest thing on YouTube. So now she has material to work with. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed my humiliating stories and learned more about me. I hope it